What's up, everyone? Today I'm going to be talking about the Kokopelli Chasm-Lite. Kokopelli claims their inflatable paddleboard is the lightest and most packable paddleboard on the market, and to the best of my knowledge, they're correct. Most paddleboards that are considered lightweight are around 20 pounds or just under that. The Kokopelli Chasm-Lite is just 12.9 pounds, and if you include the accessories, it's still lighter than most other boards, coming in at 17.5 pounds. As for the packability, Kokopelli claims the pack size of the board is 16 inches by 9 inches by 8 inches, and while this is the most packable paddleboard I've used to date, I have not been able to get my board quite that small. It did, however, come that small, and I've seen pictures of it at that size, so I may just need some more practice. This kit comes with everything you need to get started. It includes the board itself, a 4-piece paddle, a pump with removable handles and hose, a repair kit, fin, leash, a strap to help compress the board, and a dry bag style backpack to carry it all. The paddle is a 4-piece paddle, but it can be put together as 3 pieces. This is what I tried, as I am a bit short. Testing out the length of the paddle on land, it seemed that using 4 pieces all the way shortened would be a bit too long, but using 3 pieces all the way extended would be right. But what I actually found was using 3 pieces was just a bit too short. So if you're a short person like me, err towards having the paddle too long instead of too short. The majority of people won't need to consider this, however, 4 pieces will be perfect for them. The pump seems like it's good quality. It has both an inflate and deflate option depending on which side you connect the hose to, and there is also a lever to switch between single action and double action. One thing to note is my board says to inflate to 15 psi, which in my opinion takes a fair amount of effort. However, the website now recommends 10 to 12 psi, with 15 being the max. I typically inflate to 10 to 12 psi, and that seems to be perfectly fine, and it also takes me about 10 minutes to do so. Kokopelli does make a small rechargeable lightweight pump. However, it's only designed to inflate to 0.3 psi, so you'll still have some manual inflating to do. Onto some more details about the board itself. The Chasm-Lite is 10 feet long by 30 inches wide by 6 inches tall when fully inflated. Your typical paddleboard is around 32 to 34 inches wide, and that decrease in width does translate to a slight decrease in stability. When I first got on the Chasm-Lite, I felt like it was much more tippy than my last board. However, in less than a mile, I was used to it. If you are someone with poor balance looking for your first board, you may want to look for a wider board, but I'd say the average person would be just fine with this board. When I first got this board, I was mildly concerned it wouldn't track very straight due to only having 1 center fin, where my previous board had 3, 1 longer one in the middle and 2 shorter ones on the side. After testing it out, however, I am happy with how the Chasm-Lite tracks. You may have noticed I'm on a river for this test. Kokopelli has said their board is intended for use in lakes and calm rivers. The river I'm on is pretty calm, and I feel the board handled it just fine, but I wouldn't recommend it for any river with rapids. If that's the type of paddling you're interested in, I highly recommend getting a specific whitewater paddleboard. The Chasm-Lite comes with a removable bungee cord in the front and 1 off-center D-ring in the back, which is intended for the included leash. This will be perfectly fine for what most people bring with them paddleboarding. I personally intend to use this paddleboard for at least 1 camping trip, which seems like it will involve some creativity for how I will attach my camping gear to the board. But I do have a few ideas I think will work. Check back around the end of May if you want to see how that goes. This board also does not include a GoPro Mount built in, which some people will care about, but others could not care less. I fall into the first group given that I like to vlog my adventures. I have a floating suction cup mount that I had planned on using, but I had a hard time getting it to stick to the board, I believe due to the slight texture. I ended up sticking a GoPro adhesive mount to the nose of the board, and that seems to be holding up just fine so far. One of my biggest concerns when purchasing a pricier piece of gear is the durability. The Kokopelli Chasm-Lite has been out for less than a year, so it's hard to talk about the long-term durability, but I haven't had any issues yet, and don't foresee any coming up in the near future. If I do end up having an issue, I will pin it in the comments below. So overall, I'd say this is a good recreational board. If you mainly enjoy paddling on lakes and calm rivers, I think this would be a good fit. If you're looking to paddle whitewater or race paddleboards, I would look into a board designed specifically for those disciplines. If you plan on using this board for camping, like I mentioned, check back in May to see how well it holds gear. In addition, if you are a beginner, you may want to consider a cheaper option, at least until you decide how much you enjoy it and how you want to use your paddleboard. I got my Kokopelli Chasm-Lite on Kickstarter when it was 40% off. However, they're currently selling for $1,000. That's about an average price for a quality inflatable paddleboard, but maybe above budget for someone who's just getting into it, especially if you haven't decided what kind of paddling you enjoy. I think those who would benefit the most from this paddleboard are those who intend to travel frequently with this board. Its main selling point is how light it is, so if you want to hike to a lake and then paddle it, this is probably going to be your best option. If you plan on flying at all with your paddleboard, this would likely be a really good option for you as well. I also think this would be a good option for van lifers or anyone who has a really small living space. I hope you found this review helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to be always adventuring.